Hello, I will be going over some items from the 260 CIT class rubric for the finals presentation. To begin with, we will address non-static variables. It's important to know that these variables always exist inside of an object. For every time this variable is created, a memory location is allocated to that variable, and it always comes into the picture only when an object is created. Static variables, however, can be accessed independent of an object, and only one copy is created in memory for all objects using that variable. Static variables always have the static keyword, and they're referenced by the class names as seen in this example. The static keyword must be stated to declare static variable, and they're referenced by the class name, in this case which is Team Survival, and the name of the variable. Moving on now to lists in Java. One list we know of is the enum list. This kind of list are used to address fixed length items. The content of this list is usually static, meaning it cannot be changed, and to use this list in Java, we must know of the length we intend to make it. For our game, we had an enum list of items, and the reason we use this enum is because we know that the items on this list will not change and is fixed. Another kind of list in Java is the array. This is used for fixed list of items. Also, they must be of the same type. And when we say fixed list of items, there could be integers, floats, boolean, or character types. Array lists are kind of the most convenient kind of list in Java. It's used when we have a dynamic list of elements that we intend to change and remove from. For array lists, they do not have to be fixed in length, and they can be dynamically created to contain different types of objects. As we see here, the add keyword is used to update an array list. Likewise, if we wanted to remove from an array list, we would use the remove keyword. When trying to access an array list, it is important to know that an array list is ordered starting at position 0. Here is a simple for statement to access the content and print out the content of this array list. We first initialize a counter variable I to 0, and then say that as long as I is less than the size of this array list, then this counter variable will continue to upgrade by 1. And then we will print out the content of the array list as referenced by this counter variable using the get statement. So here we see list.get. So I'm going to run this just so we see the output. So the content of this list using this for statement has been displayed, and importantly, we have to reference the size of the array and then access the content of it using the get statement. So far, we've gone over what the difference is between a static and a non-static variable. We've also talked about arrays, array list, and enums. And we have addressed how we can go through an array list using a simple for statement to access the content of the list. Now we will talk about how the try and catch statements in Java are important in helping us limit the amount of code we have to write and keeping us from typing multiple error messages, as this can become really cumbersome. First, we need to understand the try statement. Usually the try keyword, and surrounded by curly brace, we have the code that is intended to be executed. In this case, it would be this function that is being called. Now, in the next statement is the catch. If there's any errors here in trying to save the game to the specified location, the error will be caught here. And then we reference this error view class which has been created. And we see the error views display function with its class name and its error message. With the try and catch statements, we limit the need to type error messages everywhere, and we do this by propagating the error to the next function in the calling hierarchy. And we do this with the throws statement. For the next item on the rubric, I'll be talking about the difference between byte streams and character streams. Both these streams are input and output streams that help us read and write data to files on a system. Byte streams are used to write binary data to a file or to the same machine or another network. They can read ASCII characters and usually referenced by the keyword input stream or output stream. It's important to note that these byte stream will not work well for text files. Character streams, on the other hand, are a more convenient way to handle character inputs and output, and they're usually referenced in code with the word reader and writer, input or output reader or writer. This simple function right here is a very easy way to show how we can output character files to character data to a file. First, we define a variable for the file stream, and then we specify the location where we want the file to be saved. In this case, we're creating a text file named file p.txt. Next, we create an open new output stream for the output files with the new keyword, and then we write the names of files or the content of the files we want to save. And the last statement here cleans up the pipe just to make sure we don't have any irrelevant data stored in there. and when this is executed, the contents of that file will be saved to a text file. Well, that is the last item on the rubric that we're required to discuss. It is obvious that I could not get my game to be up and running, in which case I couldn't show too many working examples, but I hope this shows a good understanding of the concepts that has been taught throughout the semester. Thank you.